I left my aquarium unattended for a whole 10 days while I was away on holiday. Consequently, algae quickly overtook the aquarium, but don't worry, I made sure fish got fed and the plants had enough water. The rocks and sand are covered in algae, and as you can see, there is a thick layer on the glass as well. Today it's time to do some maintenance on my Saltwater Paludarium. I am showing you how I access the pumps that are hidden behind the reef underneath the rocks and the full process of keeping my aquarium healthy and clean. Now, we did run into a small problem, but more on that later. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you check out the previous episodes of our new Saltwater Paludarium. Let's get started. I instructed my uncle to feed the fish daily and spray the plants with RODI water every other day, but I didn't want to bother him with cleaning the glass or doing any other maintenance. A small amount of algae is not a problem, but not feeding the fish or watering the plants is. I placed cups of copepods, plankton and Artemia shrimp in the refrigerator so that he could easily add one of each to the tank daily. Back in the day when I worked at a fish store, I heard numerous horrifying stories about family members recklessly dumping entire jars of food into the aquarium, leading to catastrophic tank crashes. By carefully portioning the food into cups, I was confident that everything would be fine. Thankfully, it all worked out perfectly. The corals are looking happy and healthy, but of course the gorgonians closed up just as I pressed record on my phone. However, I did notice something else. One of the plants is not looking well, the mimosa plant. This is a sensitive plant that reacts when you touch its leaves. When you do, they close up. It was doing great right before I left. It even blossomed. But when I came back, it looked totally different, closed up and dried up. When taking a closer look at it, it seems that parts that were the closest to the light above it had all shriveled up. I suspect that the blue LED right above it slowly burned the plant. I plan on switching this light cluster with a freshwater cluster. Plants prefer a daylight spectrum over a blue spectrum. And now that's one of the advantages of using these lights by Ilomagic. You can easily make changes if necessary. By cutting these damaged and dried up twigs off, I prevent them from falling into the water and clogging up the surface skimmer. As you can see, there is some biofilm on the water now. The sponge inside the surface skimmer became saturated with fish gunk and plant matter. Usually I have to put in some new filter floss once a week. This is pretty easy. We now have a pretty ugly spot on our plant mountain, but I saved some moss from when we built this aquarium. So now we can use that moss to fill up this gap. The other twigs look fine, so we'll keep those and see what happens. I have to make sure that the moss is nice and moist, either with my humidifier or mist maker, or by spraying it with RODI water. It is now time to fix our underwater world, but first, I like turning off the power head so we can get a better look at what needs to be done. I still have to do some cable management. Right now I still have cables in every one of my drawers, which is not a good idea. To clean the algae off the glass, I like to use a piece of filter floss. Because it's white, I can easily tell when I miss a spot. The only thing I have to make sure of is that I don't get too close to the sand bed. It will be a disaster if some sand gets stuck in between the glass and the filter floss. We don't want any scratches. Now, if you clean your glass frequently, you don't have to apply a ton of pressure to remove the algae. To clean the area close to the sandbed, I like ripping off a very small piece of filter floss. After doing a small part of the glass, I throw it right in the trash. This is to make sure that we keep using a sand-free piece of filter floss. I repeat the same process on the other sides of the Saltwater Paludarium. I like to keep it very clean. Next up, it's time to clean the sandbed. As you can see, some algae build up on top of it. With an aquascaping tool, I can easily make it look a lot better and cleaner. This is also a great tool to level out the sand a little bit more. Sometimes flow, fish, or other factors can move a ton of sand. Of course, we can't forget about the tide pool. Even the sand in there could use some TLC. Well guys, that's another step completed, and as you can see, the tank is already looking a lot better, but we haven't even done the most important steps yet. When we built this aquarium, we hid the equipment behind the reef, underneath the rocks. The return pumps that ensure flow throughout the aquarium and the heater are all located underneath these rocks. A lot of people were wondering if they were still accessible, and yes they are. I can easily take them out of there and clean the intakes when necessary. On the left side of the aquarium I can just lift up the plants and reach into the equipment compartment like that. The tank is looking much better, but I still have to do a small water change. I'll be taking out about 25 liters or 6.5 gallons. I also take this as an opportunity to clean the equipment compartments. Small particles build up in those areas, so this is a great way to ensure it stays nice and clean. This is better for the equipment as well. Now this is something I really like. With the water drained, the edges of the tide pool are exposed to the outside air and it looks just like a natural tide pool. Isn't this amazing? The effect would be even better if I drained some more water, but this week I only plan on doing a small water change. Okay, it's time to fill the tank back up with new, clean salt water. I mixed some RODI water with my trusted Fritz Aquatics Blue Label salt mix, and I put a heater in there to make sure it was at the same temperature as the aquarium. The next step is to turn back on all the flow. The water is still a little bit cloudy, so I like adding some clarifier to it. Fritz Clarifier rapidly clears water by pulling together fine particles, allowing them to be removed by the filter or settle to the bottom, which is the case in my tank because I don't have a filter. I also add some live nitrifying bacteria and spray the plants a little bit more with RODI water. The final step of the maintenance routine is to clean the outside of the aquarium. For this you can use RODI water or a safe spray. You don't want any chemicals to leach into your aquarium. That could easily kill tons of marine life, which you definitely don't want to happen. Water and salt stains look nasty, so make sure you get rid of those. This process took me about 1.5 hours, and after all this, it's time to wait. The next morning the water has cleared up and the tank looks so much better. Corals seem happy, plants look good and the fish are living their best life. Now a lot of people told me that the Bengai cardinals we added earlier weren't the best idea. They will fight each other to death later on, so that's something we don't want to happen. Before I left on holiday I was able to catch out the majority of them and return them to the fish store. I still have 4 of them in here now, hopefully 2 pairs. From the beginning, not all of them were schooling together. I think there are far better options. Now I do really like the other cardinals. They really school together and swim all over the tank. The tube worms on the right are pretty annoying sometimes. Whenever I want to take pictures or video them, they retract into their tubes. So annoying. But either way, these animals are really awesome. Let's add some live food to the aquarium so the fish and corals have something to snack on. Some live copepods, plankton and Artemia shrimp ensure everyone has a nice meal. Just look at them, they're going nuts for it. Now I would really like to know what you feed your fish, so please let us know in the comment section down below. The macroalgae is growing pretty good and the sponges look healthy as well. Depending on the time of day, I can also enjoy the gorgonians with their polyps out. Sometimes they are not. Next week I'm supposed to get a very cool shipment delivered. You don't want to miss it. please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Until next time, thanks for watching.